Okay, try again, because I forgot this bit. Okay. So it's a really exciting week. I missed bits and pieces of it because Speedy Gonzalez, he did the bolt on his primary teachers going from singing time to his class. And I heard his little cheeky giggle as he's running past the hall window, on the outside. And then I look and I just see his little head bopping. Just enough for me to get that's Raymond's head. And one of the members of the bishopric chasing him. Managed to get him back to class and I came back. Anyway, so, that's life with an autistic child at church. So anyway, so this talk is The Book of Mormon, An Immeasurable Treasure on Our Journey by Elder Ozani Faries of the 70. Alright. So, it starts off with, as we feast upon the word of Christ found in the Book of Mormon, the Spirit will help us understand eternal truths. And then he goes, can you remember a moment when someone gave you a gift that changed your life? And then he goes on to talk about how, that's when, 40 odd years ago, from whenever this talk was given, I think, I don't know, 2025, so last year's October one, how, whilst he was at school, he noticed one of his friends had this, light about them, and he got talking to his friend, about this and whatever, and the friend introduced him to the church, and then eventually to the missionaries, and then eventually he joined the church. And then he mentions that some friends told him he had done the wrong thing by joining the church. Like Elder Ozani, I can't pronounce his last name, I'm a convert, which I've not hidden on here. And it was brought up during Relief Society that those born and raised in the church become complacent of the Book of Mormon and of the church, because it's always there. It's a part of their life. And I could say this about the Catholic Church, because it was always there. Especially when I started to go to Catholic school as well. And that converts don't have that complacency. This is another one of the old ladies was saying this, because it is all fresh and new and shiny for us. So then I mentioned it's also in part that we have to fight for it, because we have family, we have friends who turn on us for our choice in joining the church. When I joined, I had I'm going to read this because my brain just went bleh. Okay, so, I'm going to try and turn so the light's a bit better. So when I joined, I had friends who ended our friendship over my joining the church. Friends from born-again Christian churches, who are apparently loving Christians. My own mother has declared I'm still Catholic, because that's what I was when I was baptized. Because I was baptized first, a Catholic. My ex-grandmother-in-law, who, despite the divorce, still declared that I was hers. And I kept a very close relationship with her until she passed last year. That she didn't like that I joined the church, but she only knew very lovely and sweet Mormons. And she could not pinpoint why she had an issue with me joining the church. She just preferred that I hadn't. My own grandmother had said something similar. And I had to defend my choice to join the church. Born and raised in the church don't. don't have to do that, at least here in Australia. Elder Ozani offers 3 suggestions that can help deepen our conversion to Jesus Christ through a study of the Book of Mormon. Point 1. Be diligent and consistent in your daily study. I'm shocking at that. I'm trying to think of ways that I can do it more frequently. I was thinking of just reading it on here, but like so many people do that. So I'm like, I'll figure it out. Any suggestions would be great. Make your study more meaningful by feasting upon the word of Christ. Nephi taught that feast upon the words of Christ, for behold, the words of Christ will tell you all things that you should do. 2 Nephi 32:2. To feast means more than just reading. Use study aids that are available, the Gospel Library app, things you can buy from Amazon in my case, because Australia, Deseret Books, LDS Bookstore. Identify eternal truths that help us understand God's plan and lead us to make and keep covenants with Heavenly Father. Highlight significant phrases and record your impressions to preserve what you have learned during your study. And 3, bear your testimony of the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. And that is in part the point of this account. Is to, talk about my testimony, talk about things to do with the church, talk about my love of the church, that kind of stuff. There is some fun stuff coming. I have a friend joining me. Tilly has moved back in with her dad, so she's really can't join in this while she's living that far away. But I have an American friend who is going to be joining me, and I think it's going to be fun. So, go and subscribe to our YouTube account, because a lot of it's going to be over there. We'll be, I'm going to turn this on because green curtains. It should be fun because, she knows ASL, so American Sign Language, and I know some Auslan. I'm still learning. So we're going to do some content on sign language within the church, particularly like primary songs and stuff. I can't remember. We had a whole, 3-hour planning session yesterday. Most of it was just yakking. But yeah, so one of my other friends who in Australia is going to join us every now and then. So it should be fun. If there's anything in particular you want us to talk about, or cover or whatever, let us know. We will be putting shorts and snippets and stuff from the long form over here as well. But the good stuff's going to be over there. Okay. He got loud. Yeah, he's still sleeping in my bed. We think he actually doesn't like the mattress that he has at the moment. It's quite thin, and you can I can at least feel the slats between, underneath it, so God, I don't blame him. So yeah, that was kind of a quick one. Especially because I sat there and wrote a whole heap about my hand was hurting. I thought this was going to be, I was going to be pushing my luck. Let me know what you want me to bake for next week's, chaotic baking and Sunday school notes. So, yeah. Actually, I might do Anzac biscuits, because, Anzac Day is coming up. And, they're an Australian treat. So, we might do that one.